Moments with Puz, brought to you by Get Your Ass to Work, something that everyone can enjoy. Now on to the show. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about eXp real estate, and you know that I'm going to bring the truth and I'm going to tell you exactly what is going on from my experience. This is not a sales pitch for eXp or against eXp. I want to make sure that you guys who are curious have the information available from me because, well, you know, I don't sugarcoat shit and I like to tell the truth, and I'll tell you what it's like to be a part of this company, and I'm going to tell you the positives and negatives. So let's jump right into it and talk about probably the most important topic that everyone wants to hear about out of the gate, and that's money. The splits are 80-20 until you reach a cap of $16,000. Pretty fair. How this compares to other brokerages around the area is that it is one of the cheaper brokerages in the Reno area. Definitely going to be a lot cheaper than being with a brokerage in, say, Sacramento, or if you're out in San Francisco, where the caps and the splits are a lot higher. Now, once you hit $16,000, you become what they call an icon agent. You've reached your cap, and what they do is they award you that $16,000 back to you in stock. Now, that's pretty fucking amazing, to be honest with you. So, in essence, I mean, if you are looking at it from the long game, if you work with eXp, I believe for 3 years, you're vetted and then you can sell the stock. So are you actually working for free? Is eXp awarding you stock and you don't have to pay them really to work here because you get it all back? Now, what happens if the stock tanks? Well, then you're back to zero and you're no better off than you were if you were with another company. If the stock increases, well, guess what? It has been, and that stock will be worth more. So you're actually getting paid to work at eXp? Well, look, man, I haven't been here that long, so I can't tell you exactly how it's going to funnel out. What's going to happen? Is the company going to crash and burn? Is it going to take off into the stratosphere? Nobody knows yet, but that's the opportunity, right? That is the possibility of what could happen. So the cap is $16,000. Yes, that money's coming out of your pocket now, but you get it back in the stock, okay? There are no royalty fees. Like if you're at Keller Williams, there's a royalty fee. Could be $3,000, could be more. I think it's $3,000 everywhere. Let's just say if you're in the Bay Area, your cap could be much higher. It could be $30K for a cap and then $3,000 on top of it that you're paying to royalty fees. It is cheaper to work at eXp. That's just the bottom line. But let's talk about what's not the best part about that is if you do a lot of transactions, okay? If you do a lot of transactions and you're into the 80s, the hundreds, 200, 300 transactions, then in a way it's going to become more expensive for you to work at eXp. And it is for me here in Reno more expensive for me to work at eXp because I end up paying a lot more in transactional fees that I didn't have to pay at Keller Williams, the other brokerage. So that's something to think about when you're considering the fees. If you're an agent who's doing 30 deals a year, eXp is a great option. If you're doing 80 to 100 to 200, 300 deals a year, eXp is still a great option financially, although you may pay a little bit more. Okay, but you get $16,000 of that back in your pocket as stock that can be translated to dollars 3 years in, if I understand everything correctly. So that takes care of the money. Let's go up to the cloud-based system because that's next of what eXp is really known for, is being cloud-based, no brick and mortar. Okay, where, what was that company? Blockbuster, that went out of business because they didn't have, because they had brick and mortars and they thought that people were going to love coming into the Blockbuster when really people wanted to sit in their fucking underwear and watch TV and order Netflix and not have to get up and go anywhere, right? Well, Netflix was faster. They were able to get things sent to their door. So obviously what happened? Blockbuster went under. They're trying to use the same premise with eXp Realty. So everything is cloud-based. There is no physical office. So if you're the agent who likes to come into the office every day, which most agents are not, then eXp is a great place because there's not really a physical office that you need to go into. If you're like me, then you love coming into the office every day because that's the place you work. That's the place you grind. You know when you get to the office, it's game time, it's go time, distractions off. headset is on, make those calls, make those dials, go get that listing. It's competition time. So here's the positives for me. The positives were you get to create your own culture, meaning whatever goes on in the office is what's going on in the office because you are in control of that 100%. There's no drama because you don't have to be around other agents if you don't want to be around other agents who are sitting around the water cooler, not getting their stuff done, causing problems for you in the back scene. However, if you're a new agent, you may really need that environment of being around more experienced agents. And if you're solo and you're not joining a team, then it may make sense that you're with a brokerage where you can physically go into the office and meet people and communicate and network and do all that with the other agents so that you can learn. That totally makes sense. I get it. So what eXp does, what they do have, is they have an online cloud-based brokerage, meaning that you can log in, you can take classes online, you can see video, you can network with other agents, but it's all online. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. In my opinion, it is always better to get face-to-face. It just is. The energy's better. You get to meet people in person, have more in-depth conversations. Look, there's just no substitute for being face-to-face with someone as opposed to doing it virtually over the phone. Can you get a ton of value off of these classes over the internet? Absolutely. But in my opinion, there is a reason why I will fly 2,000-3,000 miles just to go to a seminar for 24 hours and just to be in that environment. And that is part of the drawback for me personally with eXp, is that there is not that environment of top producers that you're seeing every day, that you're interacting with every day, face to face. But you can do it online. And so that's the good part, is that eXp does have a very strong online community, and the people that I'm talking to and the people that I'm in private groups with from eXp, really supportive, post a lot of great information, are really sharp, smart people in the industry who've made the change from the traditional broker model into this cloud-based model. Personally, I'm going to give my final word on this. I would prefer to be in a brokerage with other top producing agents in the room. I like the competition. I like the camaraderie. I like seeing other people working because it motivates me. There are some days when you're in the office and there aren't other real estate people around that you kind of wish there were other real estate people around that you could talk to, bounce ideas off of, people who are doing things different. It's all available online, but as I've already discussed, face-to-face is always number one, and that's probably one drawback of the area of the eXp model. However, what's the upside? Well, let's go back to money, because everybody loves money, right? The upside is the stock options to purchase and the revenue share. Now, because they don't have brick and mortar, they have revenue share. Revenue share is different than what Keller Williams has, which is profit share. Okay, revenue is you get a piece of the revenue that comes off the top. Profit share means that you get a piece of the profit that comes off of the bottom after everyone's been paid, after the assistants, the team leaders, the MCAs, and everyone in a market center has been paid. Then you get a profit share of what's left over. eXp has revenue share. The reason why it is working at the moment is because the company is not overspending. So even if they overspend, it doesn't matter. You get revenue that whatever the total amount of what came in is, you're getting a piece of that instead of the filtered through leftovers after there is profit. Now, who knows? This could crash and burn. eXp could disappear overnight. I don't think it is, but I mean, it could, right? It really could. I don't know what's going to happen, but there is a bigger upside on the revenue share than I've ever seen with Keller Williams profit share. That's just the truth. Now, I've seen checks coming in to me already from revenue share that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know I was going to get that much off of this person closing this deal. It's pretty interesting. It's effective, and right now it is the new standard for the real estate industry. Now, whether it can sustain itself or not, I'm not here to judge. I'm not a financial analyst. I'll be honest, I have no fucking clue whether or not this model is sustainable over time. What I do know is that I'm seeing more money in my pocket. Just leave it there. Leave it at that. So The stock options. Now, that is a great option because there's a few ways that you can get stock. You can be awarded stock from capping, becoming a capper. You're given $16,000 worth of stock. That's huge. That's $16K in your piggy bank for the future, just for working at a company and doing transactions. Okay. You can also be awarded stock for different ideas. I can't even tell you all of them because I don't really pay attention to that side of the business, which I should. And that's, probably some short-sightedness on my part is not paying attention to that stock part. But you can also buy stock. And when you buy stock through one of your transactions, you can buy it at a discounted rate. The stock is doing pretty well. I mean, it really has gone up substantially within the last year and a half. It went on to the NASDAQ. I mean, that's a big deal. And I don't know a lot about stocks, so I'm not even going to comment more on that. But here's what the philosophy is. Here's where they are trying to differentiate themselves from other brokerages. And this is what they're saying is that agents know that when they are working with a company, that at some point the company reaches the end level of its value that it can provide, and then all of a sudden the agent turns in providing a ton of value back into the company without being compensated properly. So I guess what eXp has done in essence is has given the chance of ownership in the company through stock options and through revenue share, not profit share, but through revenue share, to give a bigger piece of the pie back to the agent. And right now, I would say, in my humble opinion, it is leading the industry in that field of giving agents ownership of the company for which they work for. Now, this doesn't mean that anybody's going to come to you and ask you your fucking opinion of which direction you think the company should go. But it is that retirement program. It is that mailbox money. It is that extra stream of revenue that you can build and you can get much easier than you could at a different brokerage. Now, let's say you were at Keller Williams. One of the problems with Keller Williams right now that I see, that I have experienced, is that they're getting short on ownership opportunities. Now, opening and running a brokerage, it is now getting short. There are less and less opportunities as Keller Williams has expanded to do something within your area if you're just in a major metropolitan area. And so with eXp, it gives you a chance to get ownership within the company through stock options and through a better stream of revenue share, which is pretty cool. So we know that what has happened recently is that there is definitely a notice of change in the industry of people mentioning eXp, talking about eXp. Now, I heard this on a private eXp group. Somebody has been getting emails, actually several people have been getting emails from people at Keller Williams talking about recruiting. This was interesting. Here, I'm going to read it for you on the air. I'm going to leave names out. Did you get this is a letter coming from a team leader at Keller Williams to somebody in eXp trying to recruit them back to eXp, because a lot of agents are leaving Keller Williams and going to eXp. I mean, it's noticeable. Very big top agents. And before I read the letter, the reason is because at some point when you grow your team to a certain size, it makes sense that you move to a company where your team has ownership within the company, because that's what talented people want. Talented people want control of their future and not be controlled so much by whoever they work for. They want freedom. They want better compensation. Let's be real. People want more money. And so people are leaving Keller Williams. And I'm going to say this is my opinion. You can tell me I'm wrong, but people are leaving Keller Williams because there's a better financial opportunity at eXp right now. It may not stay that way, but right now, you bet your ass there is. So let's read this letter real quick. And this was interesting. I just saw it today. It says, this is a letter from a team leader to someone at eXp. Did you get your real estate license? Oh, let me mention this real quick. Sorry, guys. The team leader is the recruiter for Keller Williams. They are the people who try to recruit, talk to agents, and build the company. And they're trying to get an eXp agent to come back. And here's the letter. Did you get your real estate license to focus on selling houses, or so you can spend half your time recruiting new agents to your company, hoping to earn some extra income from revenue sharing? eXp versus Keller Williams. It's no secret that Glenn Stanford started off with Keller Williams and then decided to create what basically amounts to a copy of the original Keller Williams. Recently, I've heard eXp agents say, we are just like Keller Williams, just cheaper and with a higher upside. That was the letter that was written to. And you know what? That's kind of true, right? Well, let's be honest. Yes, the Glenn Stanford guy built this eXp with kind of the same caps and the same ideas because Keller Williams built an amazing business and it works. But guess what? It's going to the next level. And so here's what I have to say about this whole argument about eXp is trying to rip off Keller Williams and use their ideas, but they're doing revenue share, which Keller Williams says revenue share doesn't work because they already tried it, and that's why they do profit share. But eXp doesn't have the overhead of the brick and mortar, so they're able to share more money back with their agents. Here's what I have to say. Whether or not Glenn Stanford has ripped off the Keller Williams model and taken it, what if they did? Because here's the point. Apple didn't create the telephone. Apple just made a better phone. Okay? Apple was not the first company or the first person to come out with an MP3 player. But if I told you the brand names of the MP3 players that were out before Apple, you wouldn't even know their fucking names. But everybody knows iPod. Bottom line, okay, the standard has been raised. There is more money going into the agents' pockets. And that's what people are really after. They're looking to get better compensation and more control over their life. Right now, in my opinion, eXp is setting the standard that everybody else is going to have to come up to. Now, they may not stay the best, and if they don't keep innovating and keep getting better and keep raising the standard, well, then one day another company could come and wipe them out, and the eXp stock could go to zero, and everybody could cry who owns eXp stock. But guess what? I was never banking on the stock to be, my savior. It's just a nice added bonus that if it works out, it's going to be freaking awesome. And if it doesn't, oh well. Okay. In the meantime, I'm getting my revenue share and it's growing pretty rapidly for what I get compensated from the agents who I've brought on to eXp. Next item on the list is their technology. Is their technology great? I don't know. I don't freaking use it. I already had systems in place that I am tweaking and working on all the time. I did not move all of my systems over to eXp systems. Are they great? I don't know. If they are, you guys can come back and tell me they suck or they work, and then I'll make a change to my business. Right now, I am leaving in with the CRMs and the lead generation models that I have in place that I know are working. There may be better stuff out there. If there is, I need to learn about them. That's my fault for not learning about them, but I can't say 100% that I use the technology or even really look at it. That's real talk. Now, as I take a sip of tea, Jocko white tea, good. Okay, I told you guys it wasn't all, rainbows, fairies, and fucking unicorns. So what's the downside that I've come across that it is affecting my business? A couple of things. One, getting support is not the quickest. When I call to get support or I check in to try to get support, it is sort of a pain in the ass. And the problem is because I don't need a lot of support, that I don't know the avenues to go down getting it and the logins and all, go wait in this virtual line and call these people. I just don't do it that often. So when I do need something, it is a huge pain in the ass. Here's another problem that I consider a major issue is that it is very volatile in eXp as far as I'm concerned in this Reno area. It may be a lot more established in other parts of the country, but right now here in Reno, the offices are changing. They're changing brokers. They're having some issues with getting a solid a team of people that can run this brokerage in the Reno area right now. So offices are changing, addresses are changing. I got to change my business cards here and there. So it's been sort of a rough ride, and that has been one of the problems that has affected my business. But it's starting to settle down. It's starting to simmer down. It's starting to get a little bit more cohesive, and that's good. I've had a few issues with getting paychecks due to my own fault. Well, I'm going to be real because I hate paperwork. I suck at paperwork and I don't want to do it and I don't want to look at it. I want to talk about it, and it pisses me off when I get a message from the broker saying I have to have some new form that eXp is requiring that nobody else has ever required in my life be signed and turned in a month after I've closed an escrow, and get these people who've moved across the country to log onto their email who are 85 years old to get it signed. It kind of fucking sucks. But you know what? That's my problem for not being on top of my paperwork. I could do a better job on that 100%, but it's still a pain in the ass. It's not as easy as it was working at Keller Williams to get my paperwork in. Now, you could be thinking, well, Dan, why are you doing your own paperwork at this time? Well, good fucking question. I shouldn't be. Bottom line, I should have handed that off to somebody else. And I have, and, well, it didn't work out exactly as I had hoped. Okay, moving on to my final disclosure. And that is, I believe that it is 100% up to the agent to put themselves in the right environment and do the work and the activities that are going to lead to you being successful. It is up to you. You must take responsibility for your life and your business. It is not the broker's problem. So can you be successful with eXp? Yes. Are there some certain benefits that eXp has to offer right now that could pay off huge in the future? Absolutely. Are there some problems? Yes, we've covered some of them, and I've only covered the points that are important to me, that I feel are important because I am working in the industry day in and day out grinding. So those are the points that I had to cover. If anybody has any other issues that they want to talk about regarding eXp, please give me a call. 775-440-7078 is my phone number. Leave me a message or send me a text and we can get together. We can have a phone conversation. We can have a conference call. We can do whatever you want to do to help you make the best decision for your life and your business. It may be eXp. It may be staying where you're at. Cool. Let me help you get that decision made. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And as we always say at the end of our podcast, get your ass to work.